The Biden administration needs the war to be on during the election to give him the edge, though. And Zelensky doesn't, he keeps making money with the war still on. So is anyone motivated to actually come to peace here?
Well, you can see the French guy, Macron, is trying to do something.
Yeah.
Schultz, I don't know where Schultz is on this. If the pressure really pushes on the German chancellor because of the lack of gas and the cost of getting more, one thing about the oil world, it's really a crazy world. In the 60s, Russia began building a pipeline that we hated. It took them, a decade to build it. It went from Russia through Ukraine into parts of the old Warsaw Pact in Eastern Europe, and that pipeline is intact, and oil is still flowing to the 2 or 3 countries that are pro Russian, in the old Warsaw Pact, and Russia still pays the transit fees. So I'm telling you, oil is a different commodity. Oil and war, just like oil and water, don't mix. You can, so the idea that it turns out I actually asked a lot of questions about this, about Ukraine buying diesel oil from Russia during the war, in the Chechen War, when the Chechen, the radical crazies,
Yeah.
Chechen was buying its oil from Russia then.
Really?
To keep going against Russia. This horrible war, buildings were being blown up. So the oil industry is a separate world.
They're just they're completely agnostic of anything going on.
It's all about this.
Right. It's all about the money, which is
Just
a lot.
like the IT business and the computer chip. You mentioned that. It's interesting you're into that, because that's really where we are with Taiwan and China. Taiwan. Here's the other problem. What I'm told is by people in the community is we have a big research. The CIA has a big directorate of intelligence that produces, they're ordered to do so. We have another office called the Office of National Intelligence. They asked the CIA, give us a big study of what would happen, what's going on if China wanted to go into Taiwan. And so they do a study, but nobody wants it. Gets the problem. Nobody in the White House wants to read it. They don't even think the president, people in the community, they don't brief the president like CIA people used to brief him. The guys who did the mission never went near the White House. It was all done through the CIA director. And what was the CIA director's first question? How much should I know? And you know what they told him? Not much, fella. You're a State Department guy. You don't know much about the agencies. Don't ask and we won't tell. Just let us know. We're going to tell you when we're ready, and let us know what he wants us to do. And that's the way you do it. And so it's not as if in the olden days, Obama, remember the pictures of meeting and discussing, we're going to go after bin Laden, those meetings with all the intel. Nothing like that happens here. There's a report put out every day called the PDP, the President's Daily Brief, whatever it is. It's these guys in the CIA stay up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's full of signals intelligence and intercepts. And it's for the president, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Vice President, maybe the Secretary of Treasury. It's a one document only. And the guys I know aren't sure the president reads it. On the other hand, I always tell the story now that he's dead. Colin Powell, when Reagan was alive, Reagan had one great advantage. He could draw the line at times. He's very funny. But he didn't like homework. And so the PDP, what Powell did, because the head of the CIA then, Bill Casey even, it's a 3-page letter usually, a memo, very secret, handheld, brought in by a courier who waits. They would put overlines, yellow overlines on the 1 or 2 or 3 things in each report they really think the president's got to read. They weren't sure Reagan was doing it. He was a big Star Wars guy. And had a interesting point of view. So what Powell would do is come in the morning and read it to a teleprompter and play the tape for him. So he would listen to it. And I had a friend named Dick Allen, who I liked a lot, who was the first national security advisor. He was a long-line conservative Republican who actually had a big fight with Kissinger. He was on Kissinger's staff. And he became the national security advisor for the president. And I'll tell this story because Reagan didn't like to be woken up at night, as presidents sometimes are. And so one night he felt he had to. And there was a lot of, with Reagan, he loved dirty jokes if his wife wasn't around, and that was that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Alan would tell him, he'd call up, the first thing he'd ask the Secret Service agent, is she there? If she was there, we'd talk much differently. She was there a lot. But anyway, and so the Israelis, 81 or 82, 81, bombed a nuclear facility in Iraq called Osirik. It was a big midnight raid in America. And it was a real shock. They actually took it out. The Israelis are very competent. They had bomber pilots. And so Alan is called because the president should know this. It's 3:00 in the morning. He's debating about it. And he hadn't called him. He'd been National Security Advisor for 6-8 months. He's actually interesting, very interesting guy. And he told me the story later. And so he finally calls him and wakes him up. There's a hotline. Mr. President, I have to tell you that we've got to report the Israelis just bombed the Syrian reactor, the Iraqi reactor in Osirik. And this is going to be a big issue. And you think you should know. Long silence. And he said, yes, Mr. President. And Reagan said, well, you know, Dick, he said, boys will be boys. And he hung up. Something okay about that in a way. You know what I mean? We're not always the top dog. And so I tell you the story to let you know that I do have people that talk to me. I always have. And they're in interesting places. And that's why I'm a little irritated that people don't want to start asking questions. Why did the United States stop the Security Council from doing an investigation? Why hasn't there been any investigation by the White House itself? These are all questions that need to be asked. And the answers are, and, you know, 2 and 2 is always 4. But we're not even asking those questions. I've gone so long. You're going to cut this so badly. Let me go back and have, it's 1 o'clock, 2 at 1, you know, it's 90 degrees today.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.